Hi, I'm the Sustainable Sunflower and I'm going to be teaching you how to make your very own interchangeable crystal pouch necklace. So some of you might be here from my DIY kit, and if that's the case then you don't need to worry about gathering the materials. But if you've just stumbled across this video on YouTube, let me tell you everything you're going to need. One thing I should definitely mention is this board behind me. I invested in this as I use this to make my crystal jewellery. However, you definitely don't need this in order to make the crystal pouch. I'll insert some photos of some different methods I've seen other people use, so you can pick which one you think will be best for you. Let me show you the materials that you're going to need. So first of all, you're going to need some cord. I always use hemp cord because it's biodegradable, non-toxic and organic, and I love that from a sustainable point of view. But any cord will work. And then I've got a wooden bead here that's 10mm wide with a 2mm hole, but anything that will fit through the cord will work. If you buy the DIY kit, then everything comes prepared, pre-measured, and you don't have to worry about sourcing any of the supplies. And I'll just put on the screen measurements and then any additional things that you might need. Start off with one piece of cord, and what you want to do is attach the ends here like this and fold it in half, just like that. And with this half, we're going to tie a little knot. And this is going to create the base of the crystal pouch. Just like that. And what I do, I like to make sure all of my knots are really secure. You don't want this loop to be too big because you will see that this is where the crystal will sit. So you don't want it to fall through. Then with the second piece of cord, you want to do the same thing, fold it in half, just like that. And this time we're going to thread it through the loop. And as you can see here, we're just going to pull it over and pull this cord through. Just like that. Now we need our third piece of cord, and we are doing the same thing again, creating a loop. So you want it to be equal at the bottom. Pinch it together here and put it through. As you can see here, loop it over and pull it through. Just like that. So this is the sort of shape you want. It's almost like a triangle. So the next step is to get the cord from one and the other. And then what you need to do is tie a little knot. Just like that. And then on the other side, you just want to make sure that you don't like cross them over. You want to make sure you pick the ones that are next to each other. And again with the last two on the back. So we've done our 3 knots, but before I move on to the next step, I like to always go around and check to make sure everything is nice and secure, looking neat. And also I like to check if they're level. So see here, they're not in line. I will tighten this one down a bit so that it fits equally. That just helps with your sort of presentation to make sure it's nice and neat. See, that is much better. So this is what you should have so far, and we're going to move on to the next step now. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a cord and then tie it to the one next to it. It's just a simple knot here. And then pick the one next to it and the one next to that. And this is what you should have now. Once again, I'd always be sure to go around and check to make sure everything is aligned. Mine's not looking too bad, so I'll just tighten the knots to make sure it will be nice and secure. So this is how my pouch is looking after I've neatened it up, and we basically just need to do one more row just as we have done before. So we're picking a cord and then we're choosing the one next to it, tying a knot, and then moving on until we have done all of the cords. Okay, there we go. So this next step is actually really important, so make sure you're paying attention. If you get this step wrong, it can mean that the rest of the pouch won't work. So I will make sure to be very, very clear for you. So what we need to do is we need to now divide all of these cords into two. However, the important part is that they do not cross over, as this will basically make the pouch closed and you won't be able to fit a crystal inside of it. I've made this mistake more than enough times, so now I'm extra cautious. Because there's nothing sadder than finishing a project then realizing that it doesn't work. So let's avoid that here. 2 whole knots on one side and then split this one at the back in half, just like that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to put on our bead, thread our cord through the bead, and keep this in one hand here. Keep it aside. Pick up the other 3 cords and our bead and do the same. The reason I'm keeping this cord in my hand is just to make sure I keep it all separate. Otherwise, like I said before, you can get a little bit of a mix up and then your pouch will not work. This part can be a bit fiddly, but I promise this is the hardest bit. And once you've done this, we are on the home stretch. So the most important part here is just making sure you keep those cords separate. Just like that. So now you can see the sort of basic mechanic is there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a plait now all the way to the end. And this will basically act as the part that goes round your neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach mine in here with my pin. So if you're on a cork board, you can just do the same thing, use your pin and secure it down. If you're on a table, I'd recommend just like taping it down here. It should be absolutely fine. And if it comes unstuck, it'll just be one of those things you have to keep sticking down, but it will be worth it because you'll have a beautiful crystal pouch at the end of it. What we're doing here is we're just doing a simple plait all the way along. So we cross over and across. You want to make it quite tight at this first bit, just so it's nice and secure. I like to keep my plaits quite tight all the way through, just for consistency. It's so awkward trying to do this with the tripod in the middle. However, I would try and make it not look so clunky for you all. Let me zoom in so you can get a closer look. So as you can see, it's just a simple plait. And we'll be doing this for about 30 centimetres. So I'll come back in a minute and I will show you what it should look like. So once you've come to the end of your cord or you've just reached your desired necklace length, we can tie it off. And this will just finish off the necklace with a simple, you're just doing a simple knot. And you want this to be very secure, so tighten it, make sure it looks nice and neat. And there we go. You can untape, unhook, whatever you've done. And yeah, just have a look at your necklace, make sure all is okay. It's all looking good. So for now, I'm just going to leave this cord on here, but we're going to do the same on the other side. So once you've done your plaits on the other side, you just want to check to make sure they are the same length, and then we're going to do the same thing as before and just finish it off with a knot. And tighten it to make sure it's nice and secure. So then we just check again, make sure that they are even, and then we can use our scissors to chop off the ends. I like to leave a little bit, just because then with hemp cord you would want to glue the edge down. However, that's not essential, you can just leave it. Cords that are more plasticky and waxed, you could light the ends and burn it so it will melt and stick together. However, with hemp, because it's a natural product, it will literally just burn and it won't melt as such because it's got no plastics in. For glue recommendations, I really would just recommend any sort of fabric glue, especially one that will dry clear. However, I have in the past used like Gorilla Glue or anything like that. So now we need to take our 10cm bit of cord and make a little loop, not all the way across, just a little loop at the end. Pick up our cord and make an X. We're going to take our little loop and place it on the center of the X, then you can hold it with one hand. Then you'd like to pick the longer piece of the cord and begin wrapping it round and round, and you can do this just until it feels right. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that looks like a good size for me. So we're going to take this little end here. We're going to now try and bring you closer. We're going to loop through, and you want to feed it through all of the loops you have just made. And then the one at the end. So now you've put them through all the loops, what we're going to do is pick this little cord up here and the one at the end and pull. So what you have just made there is your adjustable sliding knot. You want to make sure you pull it nice and tight so it is secure once again, and then to ensure that stays on, you want to tie a knot, and then I usually double knot just to be sure. And then I just cut off the excess, making sure to leave a little bit as I will also glue this part down. So there we have it, and I'll show you just how this works. You just pull and you can tighten and loosen. You can make the necklace bigger and smaller, and this basically just means you can choose how you'd like to wear your necklace, and you can just pick the desired length, which I like that it is so adjustable. So yeah, now the best thing is testing out the pouch. So as you can see, what it should look like is this. No crossovers in the middle, as this is where we were very careful before. So now is when you have the option to glue down your ends. This just helps to make everything look a little bit neater. This is the glue that I use, but you don't have to use this one. Like I said before, you can use any type of glue that you have on hand. I just sort of mold it to make a bit of a ball on the end, basically. I'll do the same on the other side. And I try to use as little of this as possible, as my hemp cord is biodegradable, so I don't want to cover it in too much glue. I love that with the hemp cord you could effectively put it in a compost pile and it would disintegrate, it would like completely go away. However, sorry, also you want to put the glue on these two bits here. So yeah, you could put this hemp cord in a compost pile and it would disintegrate. However, it's actually a really strong and hardy material. Unless it gets wet, which I mean, I always say to not put these necklaces in the shower or anything like that. However, if it doesn't get wet, it will last a really, really long time. So that is the amazing thing about hemp. Now your necklace is complete. You can try it out by putting in one of your favorite crystals. Amethyst is a long time favorite of mine. So yeah, let's put our amethyst in here. If you didn't know already, amethyst is really good at protecting you from negative energies, bringing peace, helping with sleep, and it's also a great like spiritual tool. So if you are into your meditations and want to connect to your spirit guides or a higher power or anything of that realm, amethyst is amazing. So I'm just going to be really particular about how it sits in, just so it looks the absolute best. So as you can see, like, you can play around with this and it will look different depending on the shape and size of your crystal, and make sure it's nice and secure. This is the final product and I'm so happy with how it's turned out. And yeah, I'd love to know what crystal you've actually put inside your pouch. So please leave a comment below actually, so I can see. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, that would be so lovely. And if you'd like to have a look at more of what I do, then you can have a look on my Instagram, which is at the Sustainable Sunflower Shop. I'll put it on the screen. And then also I'll link my website in the description if you'd like to buy a DIY kit or have a look at any of my other creations that I've made. Thank you so, so much for watching.